That is lyrics that an amazing woman, Laura, wrote, and it still stands true today. Oops, let me get rid of this. I'm trying to like have something, have it go live so I can watch how it looks, but that didn't work. Thought I'd turn the audio off. What's going on, peeps? I don't do these live things often. It's amazing how incredibly nervous I still get. I used to do streaming on Twitch for years. Like, I can literally sit there with my eyes closed and I can feel my heart, like, I feel like it's moving my entire body. If you've seen cats breathe, they sometimes rock back and forth with their body. But, hey, Hannah. Hey, Space Case. What's going on, peeps? Um, y'all know me. Y'all know what I do, probably, likely, if you're here. I fight for women and girls' rights. I have been since like January. You know, most of this stuff has been online, minus the Women Picket DC stuff, which was real life stuff. Um, I do not like confrontation. I do not seek it out. Just by speaking truths now, I guess that's seen as confrontational, or like apparently people call it hate speech and harassment for literally sticking up for women's rights. And uh, yeah, whether or not you've seen it, I certainly have. So most of it's been, day in and day out stuff. I've, been on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube doing interviews, reading other people's stories, watching a million YouTube interviews, people that have lived with autogonophiles, people that are detrans, trans people currently, all sorts of just information. I know a lot about this topic. So yesterday, I came head to head with it in real life. I live in California, which is super, lefty. They obviously embrace all this insanity, LGBTQ, whatever. Um, and there's a park nearby. My husband and I try to go out and walk every now and then just because got to get up and moving and vitamin D and whatnot. So there's this park near us that I love, and it's just got this like walking track and like field and basketball court, whatever. We've been going there for like over a month. So I've seen these pack of kids there like every time we are there. And the first time, so there's three of them typically. And the first time that I saw them, there's like an older one that's probably, I'm so bad about guessing ages, by the way. I'm gonna have to guess that the oldest kid is 14 or something. And the two younger ones, I'm so bad at guessing, like 10, 8, I'm not entirely sure. The first time I saw the oldest one, every time I see this, it's a boy, he's always wearing a skirt or a really short skirt where I'm like, wow, I hope you're wearing bloomers or like shorts underneath there because it's windy and like, I don't know. Like, and one of his outfits I saw him wearing was very like e-thought, like, these men that try to mimic being a woman, and it's typically like a skanky, not wearing a lot of clothing type woman, very performative and a lot of makeup and just what I guess it says a lot about what they think a woman is. Not every woman looks like that. It's actually quite rare, and I think it's also to blame with the Instagram uh, influencer kind of world where a lot of women are so performative in that way, and I really think that they're mimicking that, which is also not even reality. Spending hours of doing makeup. I was like, what is this cap? Is this troll? Yes, exactly. Truth. So one of the outfits he was wearing was like just tight, just I don't know. I was just trying to imagine like would I wear that stuff when I was young? No, because I didn't want. This kid is obviously going. I think a teen and going through puberty, obviously. And if I was a girl, I would not want to draw more attention to myself and wear like tight clothing like that's. So It kind of was a confusing to me to see this. I couldn't figure it out. My husband was like, "Oh, it's a girl." And I was like, man, when I first saw him, I was like, that's a boy. Like, the way he walked, the way he moved, the way he did everything, I was like, that's a fucking boy. And I could sense that from afar. And I was like, well, I guess not, because I realize now he's wearing like a majorly padded bra. So it's like stuff that just throws off our perceptions of identifiers of male and female. So, we're walking around the track, and I see this older boy go into the women's restrooms. And at the time, I actually didn't know that it was a boy. And then I saw the younger boy wearing boy clothing, short hair, waltz right into the women's bathroom. And I didn't go on my walk to be like, I'm going to confront those kids. I didn't know. Like, life happens. So as we're walking around the track, instead of walking around the track, I go straight to the bathroom just to I was just like, let's see what happens. I am not here to shout or anything, but I go in the bathroom and I pay attention to like the signifiers of how it all went down here. I walk into the bathroom and there's two sinks, two stalls, and a longer, handicap stall. And the tall boy is filling up like a measuring Pyrex plastic, a cooking, container that you fill up with like water or flour. He's filling that up in the sink. I'm like shaking. He's filling that up in the sink. And I have no idea what they're doing, but it's interesting that when I walked in, that boy goes, "Oh, sorry," and like scrambles out of there real fast, like, because I'm a woman going into a woman's bathroom. And I think it's so interesting that this young then that is when I realized it was a boy, because I was like, I can't tell from afar truly like what sexes these kids are. So I'm like, okay. So, he left, and this whole thing happened so fast, it was just like wild. So as I'm leaving, the youngest boy tries to go into the bathroom, and I go, boys aren't allowed in the women's restroom. There's no parent, by the way, at all. Some people on social media, because I posted a short snippet about it on my socials, and they're like, "Oh, it's okay if a parent's there." I was like, "There's no parents. There was no parents involved." Plus, they're filling up like a measuring cup of water out of the women's sinks to go dump on each other. Like, what little girl does that at a public park? Also, like, there's outside water faucets. I'm like, why are you not using that? There's also a boys' bathroom. Why are you not using that? So the little boy, like I said, was trying to go in the women's bathroom, and I was standing in the bathroom, and just came out, and then I had the door propped open, and I said, boys aren't allowed, boys don't belong, I don't know how I worded it, but boys don't belong in the women's restroom. And he goes, I'm a girl. And I go, you're a boy? Or I can't remember what I said, honestly. It was either you're a boy or no, you're not, or I think I just repeated what I said. Boys don't belong in the girls' bathroom. And this is so interesting. He went like this, and then looked at his older brother to be like, damn, it didn't work. Can I get an assist? I'm telling you, their behavior. Because after this whole fiasco went down, I was like, was that a girl? And I was like, nah. So then I can't remember how this happened. I think we walked on the track again, and I swear to you, they waited to go into the bathroom again so I could see them go into the bathroom again. Just imagine, I'm not even in the story, by the way, obviously. Just imagine you're a young person, boy or girl. I have to be inclined to believe it. Maybe it's more boys, but not really. I think that, a young person, you seek thrills and excitement and like stealing and jumping over a fence or whatever, it's common to be a thrill seeker as a kid. So imagine being a young boy and knowing that you're a boy, you don't even have to present as a woman, which is ridiculous, and you can just go into the women's bathroom because you can. It's protected and blah 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 under law in California. Actually, I'm not sure about that. I think it's more the unisex bathrooms, not these actual women's Anyway, so I walk around the track again with my husband. So I swear to you, I saw this older kid waiting, and they went in, and I was like, here we go again. So I go in there, open the door, and I said, boys do not, I can't remember how everything I said, like what the order it was. Because it's just one of those things where my adrenaline is so pumping. I don't like confrontation. I just get so nervous, like, So I go in there, and it's the older boy, the younger boy, and I think it's a young girl. Honestly, I can't tell. So I'm like, boys don't belong in the girls' bathroom. And I went, it wasn't just that I was saying, I definitely went into the, how it makes me feel. And I was like, no, wait, the first time I went around, see, I can't remember. It was just so like scary. Honestly, I don't like confrontation. But when I was leaving the first time, I think, they were still standing outside the bathroom, and I was like, each and every one of you are very smart. I believe that you are smart, and I know you know. Because I think I said boys don't have vaginas and girls do not have penises. And I was like, I know you know that. I know you know it. So let's fast forward to where I just was in the bathroom. And this little boy is the entire time laughing at me. He's laughing. He's laughing about everything I'm saying. I'm like, and so I was like, you have feelings, you have feelings, and you have feelings, and that's great. But I have feelings too. This is a direct violation on me, and I'm a woman. And this little boy laughs and goes, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. It's very clear to me that, they're getting off on like whoa, I'm able to go into a women's restroom and do what I want and tell a woman that I don't care. And it's wild to me. This ideology is teaching misogyny at a very young age, and I believe the parents. I kept saying, he kept saying I'm a girl, and he goes like this. He goes, I'm a girl, and I was like, no, you're not. And I can tell the voice, the face, just anyway. I know it is harder to tell with young kids, but I'm like, I've been able to study people's faces, bone structures with faces, especially when they're young, when they haven't gotten female feminization surgery. It's very telling. And also kids are they have moments of speaking truths. So for that kid to say, I don't care, tells me everything that's a boy. Okay. And then he goes, I'm a girl. And he goes like this, he goes, I have boobs. And I was like, first off, if I was a little girl, I would never tell a stranger that I have a body part, that I have like a vagina, or I have boobs. Like, that's also a boy to call it boobs. And I'm like, what? I mean, overweight males have like, I'm not gonna call them breasts, but like overly developed chest. So I'm like, you know what? They're such bad liars. And I think that, calling it boobs and saying I don't care to me when I said it directly affects me, says everything, that it's a boy. And dude, the look on their faces looks like they have never been challenged with someone living in reality, saying no, because they were dumbfounded. Their faces were like they couldn't believe what they were saying to me wasn't working. What else happened? I can't remember. I think the older one said he's trans. And I was like, I can't remember. I'm trying to remember like the whole order of things. So this is just how it happened. None of this was planned. So I realized the way I was standing, I had the door open and they three were inside. And I was like, well, this isn't going to work. It looks like I'm blocking the door and that's not my intention. So I go into the women's restroom to kind of stand next to them so they're more towards the door. And I was like, a women's bathroom is a very vulnerable place for women, and women can get raped by men in women's bathrooms, and that shut them up. That made them go right on out the bathroom. I'm not here to like be awkward with kids, but I'm like, it just happened that way. Like, if you don't know about rape, let me tell you about rape. Oh, thank you. Cool. Thanks, Claire and Hannah and who was that person's name? Mike. Sounds like a fake name, but anyway. I was like, women get raped in these bathrooms. Men, I hate that. I'm phrasing it wrong. Men rape women in vulnerable situations. Like, I'm sorry, but this is a women's bathroom. So they left the bathroom. So I'm like, oh, they left and I'm like heavy breathing. It was just, I hate confrontation. So we walk, I left and, it was just so much conversation. Like, my husband was sitting outside the bathroom and one of the kids goes, your girlfriend is an idiot. I didn't hear this. And he's a very sound person, was like, that's not very nice. Or I can't remember how he said it, but, I can't remember how he said it because I didn't even hear this conversation. But I started walking away and the youngest one, who's a boy, who thinks he can just own the bathroom. And I say, fuck no. He started spouting off this like lesbian, gay, LGBT something. And let me get my sunglasses to show you what I did. So I'm leaving the bathroom. going this way, and the kids are like still hanging out because I'm sure they feel defeated, and I'm sure they feel like this whole ideology protects them where they can do whatever the fuck they want, and they're probably pretty upset that someone has stood up to them. So he starts spouting off this lesbian thing, and I'm like, and I go, oh, you want to talk about lesbians? Lesbians do not date anything with a penis. I can't remember how I worded it, but like as soon as where'd my glasses go? I just threw them down. As soon as I brought that up and stood up against them again, he was like, oh, and then he like walked away. And then the oldest one, hey, Ellen, what's going on? The oldest one walks away and was like, you're an idiot. And I was like, oh, really? Would you like to talk about that? Because I'd be more than happy to talk about that. And I was like, exactly. This is what y'all do. You do not debate. I was like, exactly. He just was walking away all grumbly. So I'm just like, oh, God, that was tense. I'm trying to remember I'm sure if there's something I left out, and I'll let you know, and I'll circle back as usual. So I'm like, Lordy, this just sucks. Like, I don't want confrontation. I want all of us to get along. And that's what I was saying to them. I was like, this matters to me. Like, I have feelings too. And the kid said, I don't care. I don't mean just doing this like, I don't care. Literally. Yeah. So, hello, Beyonce. Wow, I'm so special. And Case and Will. So, my husband does not take confrontation well, just because I grew up in a huge household of like 5 siblings, 4 sisters, and I dealt with confrontation and fights all the time, so I'm like born for this shit. But I'm not here to like, let's go, I love this. I do not like it. But I'm not going to sit by at a park, and first of all, they're like playing with wasting water and playing in the women's bathroom. The women's bathroom is not a playground. Like, I'm aware it's hot and it's summer, but this isn't white water. Like, also, yeah, there is a sink outside. I don't prefer you waste water, though. Just totally privileged kids. Like, I mean, you're throwing water. Like, they'd fill up the water in the women's bathroom, because of course they would. How exciting. And then dump it on each other while they're kind of still leaning out of the bathroom. I'm like, get the fuck out of the bathroom, dude. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's not a place to play. Hey, Joan of Arc. Wow, all these special peeps. So, my husband's like, God, can we please go home? And I was like, no, I'm not gonna let this shit, like, tarnish, like, a good place. Like, we're working out, we're walking, we're getting fresh air. Like, I don't want to bend to their, let them win kind of a thing. But I could tell he was really uncomfortable, and it was tense, and I was like, all right, fine. So we walk home, and the park is not that far from our home. I kid you not. So first of all, anyway, so we're walking home, and right as we're walking into our where we live, the driveway thing, I hear this vroom, and there's this black, like, suburban van or something, cuts us off, because we're walking on the sidewalk. They literally cut us off, like, I mean, obviously you guys know what cutting someone off is. This is the driveway into the neighborhood. This is us. I'm like, what is this? Walking on the sidewalk, and they're like, vroom. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. There's 2 parents. One is a brunette in the driver's seat, and then the passenger seat is an overweight, blonde woman. And they were like, you fucking bitch. And then just, I don't even know, harassing our kids. I honestly don't know what they said. And I was like, my husband is trying to, like, speak, I'd be quiet for a second, because I can tell my husband's trying to, like, tell them what actually happened. But then, I don't know, obviously there's, like, it was so interesting, the display of me, female, and my husband, male. Whenever I tried talking to them, they were, like, it was just, like, impossible to get a word in and have them even remotely listen. But as soon as I got quiet, and my husband was more calm, I wasn't screaming, but I'm talking like I am now, fast and whatever. My husband was very calm talking to them. They were silent, and they listened. But as soon as I started talking, they started, I was like, wow, look at this dynamic right here. This is fascinating. And because they know what a male and a female is. Hello. Anyway, so they're like, yeah. So I was like, biological sex is immutable. I live in reality. I was not harassing. Boys do not belong in the women's restroom. They were like going on about transgender stuff and saying that these were girls and they have a vagina. And I was like, dude, I don't want to know your children's genitals, dude. Like, why are you telling a stranger that? Whether or not that's true, I'm like, like, I don't even know you. That's so personal. Like, whatever, and that's what made my husband go, oh my God, was it a girl and I misunderstood? And that can happen, especially in this current climate where it's so confusing. But I'm like, nah, dude, this kid's voice, the way he talked to me, the way he did this, when I was like, boys don't belong in the women's bathroom. And he goes, or he's like, I'm a girl. And he goes, and I said, this is all out of order. He's like, I'm a girl. And I said, boys don't belong in the women's bathroom. And he goes, like, literally, oh man, dang, and looked at the older brother. And, I have boobs. I have boobs. You have boobs? No girl would say that. So, because I mulled it over later and I was like, fuck, did I get it wrong? Because, this can happen. And I was like, no, it was definitely a boy, laughing in my face. It was everything about it was male. So I think that the parents didn't want to say, I don't know, they definitely use the word trans and they know all about the law. They're like, this is protected under the law. And then this woman, the driver seat woman was like, look at you and your tattoos. Look at your tattoos. And I was like, and? I was like, now who's judging on appearance? I'm like, wow, what does that have to do with anything? Because I have tattoos, I'm somehow not an adult? Because she was like, where are the adults here? We're calling the cops. And I was like, but this is so ridiculous. Honestly, I wasn't even threatened by this shit because they were so wild. And I was like, in the beginning when they drove up, I was like, you are harassing and you stalked my husband and I out. That is crazy. Because they were like, you're crazy. You're a lunatic, loose screws, insane in the head, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you are stalking my husband and I out and you're harassing us. You followed us home in a vehicle. Also, what I didn't know, because my husband was to the left of me, I was closer to the front of the car, that the two, I don't know, the three boys that were at the park, I think there was, the children were in the back seat, crouched down. So I'm imagining it like this, where the kids are like, the parents are driving, like, tell me where those bad, horrible bigots are. And the kids are like, there they are. And then vroom, you know what I mean? Because, like, they obviously had to tell the parents, like, what we were wearing. And I think that's why they were in the back seat. And one of my friends made a great point about this. Like, you're the kind of parent that would take your kids on an excursion to confront two strangers that could have guns, that could actually be lunatics? How dare you? You're a horrible parent to put your children in a situation like that, where you're calling me names, calling me a bitch, and like, I can't remember what other words they said, but it was really harsh. Not once did I call these kids or the parents any sort of cuss words. I didn't cuss at all. I didn't, which is a miracle. I was very sound. I didn't say, I didn't call them any names. I didn't, nothing, I just think this is so crazy. So let me try to finish the story here. So, I started, like, they were calling the cops, and I'm like, dude, it's about to be dinner time. I need to take a shower. I am not in the mood for this. They are technically trespassing. There's like a no soliciting sign. I'm not sure. I have to look up the legal law stuff. I mean, regardless, they're fucking stalking us out and harassing us. Like, I was not harassing these kids. I'm standing my ground about reality. Reality is not harassment. I want you to be very clear about that. Not that you don't know that, but excuse me. I'm standing up for my fucking rights. Penises and males and boys do not belong in women's bathrooms. We have our pants down. We're changing our tampons. It's a safe haven, for God's sake, to get away from males. You do not belong there. And for you to sit there and be like, I don't care, says everything. Says everything about what this ideology is teaching children. Oh! And then the whole spouting off the whole lesbian, and I'm like, you don't even know what you're saying. You've been so indoctrinated. And I said this, I was like, you've been sold a lie. I'm really sorry to tell this to you. I have a lot of sympathy for you. I'm very sorry, but it's a lie. And, if anything, it was so frazzly, and we still got stalked out, but I was so proud of myself to stand my ground, with these kids who just think they can play in the bathroom and be in women's spaces. So let's see. My husband's trying to tell them what actually happened. It wasn't harassment or any of that shit and whatever. So I'm like, dude, let's go. I don't want to deal with this. Like, Lord. So we would start walking back to our home, and there's this neighbor that I like a lot, and I'm like, oh my God, because I don't know what's about to happen, honestly. These two women in their vehicles, they could technically run us over, like 100%. And hello, Leslie, and okay, let's make sure there's anyone else came in. There's this neighbor I like, and I was like, hey, can you be a witness to what's going on? Because we're being stalked and harassed right now, and I'd like to have a witness. And he was like, what? What's going on? And I was, he came out of the garage and was like, I was like, boys do not belong in women's restrooms. I honestly don't remember what I said to him, but something like that. And then the women were screaming from the vehicle to that man, and I'm just like, oh, I can't deal with this. I'm not about to, whatever, just carry this on, because whatever, these people are the crazy ones. So we walk back home, and, very frazzled, obviously. Originally, I wasn't going to tell this story just because I don't know why, actually. I think it's just really not traumatic, but just like awful to kind of revisit it. Not really. Now, it's definitely important to. I called my friend up and told her about it, and she was like, you need to tell your story because this is what's actively happening to women, and women and men need to hear these real stories that are going on. I wasn't mean to these kids at all. I was just like, boys do not belong in the women's bathroom. Like 100%. There was no harassment involved, none. And I didn't put a finger on them. I didn't scream at them. It was their choice to leave because they know what I'm saying is true, I think. And they're the one that called us names. Give me a break. I'm not about to call them names. Okay, thanks for joining. So yeah, wildness. And my friend was like, you need to file a restraining order if that happens again and bring your phone with you. This is hilarious. I don't ever bring my phone with me on our walks because I like to disconnect from social media and phone stuff and just not be on the phone while we're walking. But I'm like, now I have to have the phone because, yeah, I don't want this to stop me and my husband going enjoying our walk on around that park. And those kids, I'm pretty sure, live near close by because they're always there. So I want to ask you guys, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, this could get, like, more heated if we go to that park again because we want to live our life and they're doing it again. What am I supposed to do? Like, stand back and just let them do it? Because, I mean, it's going to have to assume that I'm assuming that the kids are going to go tattle to their parents again and be like, we are harassed. And I'm like, I don't know what these people are able to do. They're lunatics. They're the lunatics. My husband was seriously concerned about them grabbing their husbands or whatnot, Since I have my husband with me, who's to say they won't grab a male figure to, like, beat up on me or my husband? I mean, the world is crazy. People are getting beat up for not wearing masks. It's a difficult situation, and I'd like to have you guys chime in on how would you handle this. Like, we need to come up with ideas and real actions of combating this in the safest way possible. And I honestly don't know if I can tell you how to do that. Because I'm like, if that was an adult male in the bathroom, I don't know if I could say anything because women know males will dominate and annihilate because they're stronger. The level of entitlement and males knowing that they can, are allowed to do this now, and women are too terrified to say anything, which is happening by and large in every aspect, especially sports. Women don't want to speak out because they spend all this time training and whatnot to race. I always bring up the racing thing because I used to be a cyclist and it's very near and dear to my heart. Watching it be annihilated. SaveWomenSports.com. I don't think it's .org, but, these women that are racing against these men and they are standing up there on the podium with men that are in first place over and over. So, like, recently there's a stage race in Georgia. A stage race is like multiple races, like 3 or 4 days. 3 days, there's a criterium, individual time trial, road race, and I can't remember, there's variances of races where it's pretty freaking difficult on the body. And this man took first place over and over and he wasn't a minute and okay, first of all, the road race is incredibly difficult. I was a cyclist and racer, and I don't have that kind of endurance. It's so difficult. I'm more of a criterium where you go around in a circle, like of a parking lot or a closed course over and over, and it's much faster and more intense. And it's shorter, obviously. Road races are insanely long. They can be 40, 60, 80 miles. So this man who swept the fucking podium repeatedly with these races, he wasn't a minute ahead of the pack. The pack means the rest of the field, which is women. He wasn't a minute ahead. He wasn't 5 minutes ahead. He wasn't 10 minutes ahead. He wasn't 15 minutes ahead. He was 20 minutes ahead of the main field, which is women. Do you understand? Like, minutes and time and cycling and racing is everything. Time sports is, shaving off seconds of your race by being more aerodynamic, slamming that stem, which is where you slam your handlebar stem, which is supposed to be more aerodynamic, not comfortable for everyone, but helmet dynamics, skin suit. Men shave their legs in cycling to be more aerodynamic. I kid you not. Because it does make an effect. Because, I mean, milliseconds. People obsess over these races over milliseconds. So to have a male be a freaking cheater openly in women's races and be 20 minutes ahead is like, what? And everyone just sits there and is like, yay? Like, and these women are up there on the podium like, second place. I should be there. Kill me. I know it's because they can't speak out. They feel like they can't speak out because they will lose their spot on the team because of males' feelings about annihilating a women's sport and race field is more important. They'll get their scholarship yanked out, their sponsorship, which is like, there's these teams are the like category 1 is like considered professional, and those teams are sponsored by pretty, serious companies which have bought into this shit, Specialized, I mean, you name it, like Fox Racing, like, I mean, pretty much probably all of them. So it's like women are being silenced about defending their own sport because they'll be kicked out. They'll be kicked out of their team and their friend and their group. So I'm like, I've heard of people trying to speak to some women that this happened to. It was in Georgia. Lance Armstrong, that's hilarious, I know, right? Where, someone tried to reach out to some of those racers and they're like, they don't want to talk. They don't want to talk. This is a state of women being, women not believing in their own voice and knowing that they're standing up against something very strong that will likely, ban them from what they love doing. It's insanity. Anyway, so back to that story. I don't know. We need to figure out how to navigate this because, hilariously enough, the same day Biden confirmed the, this is crazy. It's just insane. Men are allowed to race if it's because it's protected under gender identity with women. It's underneath the Title IX thing. The Title IX was created to protect women in women's sports. Now it's being, men have annihilated it. Annihilated. Now they're included in it because they say they're a woman? Are you serious? It's not about identities. Males, if they even say they're a woman, they still have a male body. I also don't give a flying freak about adrenaline, testosterone levels. They still have a male body. Males' bodies annihilate women in sports. Everyone knows this. Since when, Beth? Hello. Perfect timing. I'm talking about sports. This is just so, it's just like, it's so very clear that these, I feel like I'm going to pass out, Lord, because I'm like, I don't know. These people that are running these things, like sports and whatnot, I know it's such a great quote, Beth. It's so great. It's so great because it's so true. It's not about your damn identity. What is your body? Your body structure is male. You have so many, I need to write this down. Like the benefits of males is like their lung capacity, their bones, their like, I'm curious about their ability to, recover and recovery and cycling, and especially in stage races, is everything. If you don't recover during a between, sometimes the stage races have 2 races in one day, and if your body doesn't recover at the best of its ability, you are going to suffer badly. And I'm just gonna have to guess that males' bodies recover. I don't know if that's true though. Recover better than women's. It doesn't even remotely matter because males' body. I mean, why do we not see women who are pretending to be men? Why aren't they dominating male sports? Huh? Why? Why? You know why. Males' bodies are so much more stronger, dude. It's nuts. I mean, there's video proof of this. Everyone knows this. There was some Olympic race from whatever year where they're allowed to have, it was well known. I mean, everyone knew that it was like mixed sexes. And it's like a, what is it called? Not a triathlon, baton handoff thing. Wow, I don't remember what it's called. You hand off, you're running around the lap and you hand off the baton. What the fuck is it called? Anyway, brain fart. And it was just this perfect display of a male being behind a woman and just vroom, like totally overtook her, like on the track, way ahead. Relay, thank you. I'm like, everyone knows this. This is known that males are stronger. It's just it's bullshit. This silencing techniques of people feeling like they can't speak out. And this happened with me with the whole J.K. Rowling thing. I always talk about this, but she retweeted that article where it said like people who bleed, and she was like all amazing. And I was like, yes! She was all sarcastic and was like, oh, what's the word for that? Wimexin? Women bleed, have menstrual cycles. And I vividly remember like typing out, yeah, women are the only ones that menstruate, because I wasn't in on all this mess. And then I was like, because I knew there was like vitriol and hate towards her, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to delete what I was going to say. I silenced myself. Because at the time I wasn't prepared, and I was like, what is happening, dude? I don't know what's going on. Because I was like, dude, J.K. Rowling is the most, like, lefty... She made Dumbledore gay after she wrote the books. I was just like, her? They're going after her? Yeah, I know. I think I would just want to discuss, like, what are ways where we can actually make a difference and fight this? Posting memes and all that is okay and good, but, the silencing and deplatforming and censorship of Instagram being like, hate speech and symbols and blah, 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 blah. Are you sure you want to write that? Are you sure you want to write the word psycho in a caption? I kid you not. No, I made a comment that said, that person is insane. And I got that Instagram pop-up and it was like, this looks similar to a comment that was reported before. Are you sure you want to make that comment? Are you? And I was like, yes. And it's funny that the button for no, I want to go edit it was on top, where yes is usually on top. Anyway, it's all so purposeful. Even searching people that have controversial accounts like Angela Staton, I try to type her name out. And usually when you type someone's name out on Instagram, it pops up immediately if you're spelling it right and whatnot. But, even as you're typing it, it'll pop up. But Angela, because she's all, standing up against this whole cult thing, and she's a conservative, of course. I'm meaning, like, of course she'd be silenced. So I type her name out, and she doesn't even show up on the list of people. I can't remember how I find her. I go to hashtags, and on the bottom, I think it says see more, and I click see more, and then her name pops up, and I'm like, this is crazy. Even that kind of thing where it's really difficult to find accounts that are controversial are being hidden from you. Yes, I know. We need like a sort of all women's group or something. And what Beth is doing is amazing. And if you don't know SaveWomenSports.com, please go to it. Beth Stelzer is making real strides in this whole thing. She's incredible. She's amazing. She says this. I'm just an average housewife, and she's getting shit done. Testifying and having other women come with her to tell their story. You can do this. I just want to really reiterate over and over that you have a voice. I promise you. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it is terrifying. You are definitely going against the status quo and the majority. But ultimately, it's going to take us, the people that are standing up for the truth and reality and protecting women's spaces and sports and rape crisis centers and just, bathrooms, for God's sake, locker rooms. I don't want to see a penis in a locker room. You're not a woman. You're not a female. You have a fucking penis. Get out of here. Ugh, can you imagine like a situation like this in a locker room? A women's, because I'm like, the Biden's thing, did he even finish saying that? Yeah, I did. It's basically schools that have federal funding have to go along with this. But so I think the hopefulness I have is that schools that aren't federally funded can make their own, reality-based rules about the bath or the sports and whatnot. Hey, what's up, Art Bell fan? Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. We're just going with that. We have got to stand up against this, It's not fun, but I promise you'll gain so much respect and integrity. And I keep talking about this, but it's only something that you can only experience yourself by standing up against this and being like, no, I'm not going to allow this. No more. I know what reality is. Just making a stand in one way or another, whether it's online or what I did in person. And just remain calm and say, frame it in a way where, yes, you have feelings, but I have feelings too. And this is a direct violation on me. You are violating my space right now by being here. To bring it back to how this affects women and girls, I think is crucial. Good. Yeah, exactly. Politicians are sick of hearing or of listening to lobbyists. They want to hear from people like us. Yeah, I'm sure it's also relieving to politicians to hear people speak reality, because I've had people time and again be like, "Oh my God, this is amazing," to, what I speak about, and people are fans of what I do, and I'm like, I'm just living in the truth, man. I just live in reality. And that's another thing I was telling the kids. They're walking away, and I was putting my foot on the ground, and I was like, the ground that you're walking on, the clothing you're wearing is reality. This is reality. Pertaining to them believing this trans thing. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. You've been sold a lie. Yes, exactly. My rights don't end where your feelings begin. Exactly. Women say no, and they'll be like, oh, not all women. Well, I'm like, well, you know what? A lot of women aren't saying no because they're terrified. Because you're a male standing in front of them. I've heard stories. There's a story of I hate calling it a story because it sounds like it's made up. This is a real life thing that happened. Another YouTube. Who was it that did the interview? I can't remember this point. But it was a woman that was in a woman's bathroom in a restaurant, and there was women in line and a little girl in line, and there was two men pretending to be women. They had their dicks out and like grinding on each other, and the woman was like, "You need to get out of here with that." And the man chased her out of the bathroom and ran after her in the parking lot. These people are vicious. They're violent, okay? All of them? No. But a lot of them? Yeah. I'd say the majority of them? Yeah. Because they feel like they can. They can be like, well, it's in the law. And then they get away with like, oh, that's what I was going to say. Just imagine being in a locker room and there's a boy or man who says he's a woman, has his dick out, is smiling at you, whether you're naked, you're both naked, and he's masturbating and being like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Huh? Like, that's going to happen. Like, if it hasn't already happened, and what are you going to do about it? If you say anything about that, they'll call you a liar. They'll be like, oh, you're a transphobe. I'm like, this is what? No. And even men that get their penis inverted, they can still rape with objects. They don't suddenly become not a rapist with their penis. They can rape with other things. Lord have mercy. I still don't want you in my bathroom if you've had your penis inverted. You're still not a woman. I'm sorry to break it to you, but this is just the truths. It is. So Lord knows this video this could be the video that has me going out. I don't even care. Like, I don't care. It's just, they're not going to stop. Here's the thing. Like, what I really don't understand about the vitriol and hate, it's like, you fucking bitch, just like, how do you possibly think that you're going to convince me that what you're saying, you call me slurs and all sorts of insulting stuff, going after my tattoos? I already say that? Yeah, I did. I was like, what's your fucking point? It's a unicorn, for God's sake. It's a Anyway, wow, I totally forgot what to say. Like, I completely forgot. I don't remember. They were cussing at me and saying shit. I don't remember. I totally had like an ending statement there, and I forgot. Oh well. Welcome to my life. I don't call it neovaginas. I don't allow them to use any female terms. And language is so important. It's so important. I say neo hole. It's a hole. It's a wound. If you don't dilate that hole every day, your body goes, well, it's my turn. It's my turn to do what I'm supposed to be doing, and let me close this up. Like, literally, it will close up because reality exists. I'm sorry to tell you. Like, I almost wish like it wasn't true, so they could, in a sense where I'm like, I feel bad for these people. They're being lied to at every angle that, yes, you can become blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's not true. Lord. So yeah, you just have to, you have to speak out against this. No more of, oh, I have a job and I have kids. Oh, I'm uncomfortable. I'm like, it's you. You have to speak out now. You have to speak out a year ago. You have to speak out yesterday, whether a male or a female. Oh, also this, let me add. My husband is a cyclist. Oh Lord, I know that Jazz thing is so disturbing. Every photo I've seen of Jazz, he looks really not there. Like, his smile is like, I don't know. I'm very in tune with people's how they display, like, especially, I can just, it reeks of help me, like, help, not happy, like, oh, that was all the mom's choice. My husband is a cyclist, and there's a local cycling club and he wanted to go out and race the other day. And I was like, listen, do you want to give money to this group that supports men racing in women's fields? So I don't want to be the bad. I don't want to. Now I have to be the bad guy to be like, you can't go out and support this group that erases women's sports. It's affecting him now. I'm like, this is, you know what I'm saying? This is affecting everyone. People have got to speak out. You have to speak out. No more of, oh, I can't. You have to. I think if you don't speak out now, it's going to affect you in ways that are much bigger than what you're currently feeling. Mark my words, every week shit goes down, the Biden thing, it's literally only getting worse. And I know it's kind of the beginning, this is pretty early in the indoctrination phase. So just keep standing in the truth. Let me see if did I forget anything about the story. I don't think so. I don't know. Yes, I'd rather be rude than a fucking liar. We love you, Magdalene. Straight up. It's true. Like, yeah, exactly. Anyway, keep standing in truth. I don't know what else to say other than that. If you have any questions, I don't know. We need to find a way to fight against this because we have to. I think we have to start from the ground up, suffragette style. I keep saying print your own newspapers, seriously, especially with us being silenced and posts being taken down for speaking reality. Like, if you're able to print your own magazine or paper or whatever, type up something or make a graphic and start handing them out. Put them in those little citywide things that are like free and you put like flyers in. Put it anywhere. Like, stickering is such a great way to do it and gives you a little rush. Or leaving, Save Women's Sports has all sorts of stickers and postcards on their website that you can absolutely leave the postcard to say men do not belong in men do not belong in women's sports. Like, is that what it says? Oh, here's one. Even leaving that somewhere, reminding people what a woman is, because this is considered hate speech now too. This pin, by the way, you can buy my pin on my website. I hate advertising my own stuff. It's so awkward. LindsayPlatoshinArt.com/shop. This is Swarovski and it's beautiful. Video does no justice, but what happened? Oh, okay. Hell yeah. Oh my God. I want to go with you, Hannah. I went to a shooting range the first time in March and it was glorious and terrifying. Thank you so much for joining. I literally get ahead of myself. You said it as a post that, oh, yes, stickering, 100%. I like how it says should not. I don't know. It's perfect. Yeah. Lord Almighty, I really feel like we can definitely make this happen. You just have to start banding together and joining possibly like Zoom calls of like organizing. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. I love the South. Yeah, I know. Maybe I should start doing like Zoom things because whose body is it? Isabella. She does Zoom meeting things, groups where they talk and come together. If you've been an ex-lefty or maybe you were a trans supporter, TRA, and you're not anymore, and she holds awesome Zoom things. So shout out to her. I forgot her website. Whose body is it? I don't know. Look her up. She's on YouTube. So I guess that's all for now. Yep, that was my story, and that happened yesterday, and it is real. So I don't know what else to say. Thanks so much for joining, and I will catch you guys later. Check out tomorrow and Friday the premiere with Caitlin Roper. She does Collective Shout in Australia. And today, I interviewed a man who grew up with an AGP stepfather, and it was so intense and so revealing. So that one will come out in 2 weeks because I'm going out of town and I needed to have videos for backup. So that's a huge one. You do not want to miss it. Seriously, don't forget to hit subscribe and like this video and leave a comment on how we can combat this, I suppose. We can do it. Solidarity. Yeah. I'm not going to steal Posey Parker's thing. She says we never lose. We won't lose. Stand in reality and we won't lose. Bye, y'all.